a training. It was my mindset. Once I shifted that, my entire business changed. I was the coach who was able to get to Diamond, but I wasn't able to help my team. I wasn't able to help my coaches get to Diamond. And because I had reached it fairly quickly, I just assumed that this was how everybody got to Diamond, which I think we all kind of go through. You know, once we first get to Diamond, we're kind of like, okay, I did it. Now you just kind of wait for everybody else to do it. And for me, it was really difficult. I had all these big plans and all these big goals, and nothing was happening because I was just waiting. I wasn't leading my team and I wasn't growing, and I wasn't doing personal development clearly. But for me, it was something that really shifted my entire business. So it's something I'm really excited to talk about. It's something I'm always really passionate to talk about. And just to kind of explain to you guys what a shift in that sort of mindset can do. And I don't know if, Pat, if you've ever gone through something like this, we kind of don't realize that we make that shift until like 6 months after we do. And we kind of look back and we're like, wow, like, look at what happened when this thing changed. I was a Diamond last year on the cruise. I was a 1-star at Summit last year in June. And I was a 5-star at leadership last year in September. So I had that shift, and in 3 months, my business exploded. And I say that to you guys to let you know that this is what's possible when you really can kind of take a step back and be objective and say, you know what do I really need to work on? What do I need to tweak? And sometimes it's just one little thing, and it can really just kind of set your business right on fire. So I'm gonna share my screen and kind of go through this with you guys. And I tend to ramble, so if you guys have questions, please either just post them or just stop me, because I tend to just kind of go off. I get really into all of this. So can you guys see my screen? Okay. So obviously we talk about our whys. It's the biggest part of our business. You know, we talk about what's your why, what's your why, what's your why. And for me, what I like to do with my team is I encourage them to get real. And what I do with them is I drill down into what we call the 5 whys. So you have your big why, and then you really drill all the way into it to really find what is going to drive you and what's really going to help you focus on your goals. For me, my goal since I became a coach was to retire my husband. It was to bring him home. I don't know that he'll ever stay home, but my goal is to have the income that he can make that choice. And why is that important for me? Because he's missed a lot. You know, our girls are 7 and 4, and he's missed a lot of those things, and we don't want him to miss anymore. You know, why not? Because they're only young ones. We can only make these memories at a certain time. And my goal is to always be a full-time family before anything else. Have the ability to say, you know what, the kids have off, let's hop on a plane and go somewhere, and not have to worry about if he's got vacation time available, if there's money for us to take the kids on vacation. So whatever your why is, make sure that it's strong enough to drive you through months like this that can tend to be slower than the rest of the year. Make sure it's strong enough to drive you through those times when you feel like your business is stagnant or your business is stuck. And make sure that it's strong enough to keep you in that mindset that no matter how difficult it gets, you want to keep pushing forward. I always say to my coaches, this business isn't always easy, but it's always simple. And if we can kind of drown out all the noise and take a step back, we can kind of reset ourselves and say, you know what, let's go back to the why. Let's figure out what's going to drive us, and let's hit the gas pedal and kind of move forward. So for me, what I found when my business was stuck was that I was operating in what I would call a fixed mindset. So if you're somebody who is avoiding challenges, we're coming up on the fourth quarter. There's going to be a lot of people pushing for Premier, pushing for Elite towards the end of the year. There's going to be a lot of coaches running push to diamond groups. Are you somebody that's going to join those, even if you're a fairly new coach? Or are you going to say, you know what, that's not for me. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. Are you somebody who, when Team Cup comes around, you say, I don't want to do it because I don't want to let my team down. And that's basically saying I don't want to be held accountable. Are you somebody who does give up easily? I talked to 5 people and they all said no, so I'm done. I'm not going to invite anymore. I did my 5 people and I'm just not going to hit Success Club this month. It's the 23rd of September. You guys still have a full week left. I've had coaches on my team go from 0 points on the 27th to 10 points on the 30th. I've seen it happen. And don't give up 5 seconds before you have that success. Don't do it. See your effort as fruitless. It doesn't matter how hard I work. It doesn't matter how many people I invite. Everybody's going to tell me no anyway. I have news for you guys. If that's what you think, that's what you're going to attract. Negative never attracts positive. And what you focus on is what's going to grow. So I always say, you know what? Even if you feel like you're hiding it well on Facebook, people can sense it. People can sense that you're frustrated. They can sense that, you may be feeling what we would call like desperate. If it's getting close to the end of the month, it's really important to just stay positive and focus on what you have accomplished this month and what you really want to use to push yourself forward. Ignoring useful negative feedback, or what we would call constructive criticism. Somebody's got a great, you put what you think is a great post up and somebody on your team sees it and they're like, you know what, that's a great post, but here was a mistake that I used to make with that kind of language. Maybe just tweak it a little bit. I'm really kind of getting offended and taking it personally instead of saying, you know what, this is coming from somebody who's already failed with this same sort of, post or whatever they're doing with social media. Maybe I should take their advice because maybe they're helping me to, fail a little bit less. Feeling threatened by the success of others. This is a big thing, guys. I mean, in this network, there's so much comparison. You may see people who signed up after you did, or the same time that you did, and they are making more money than you are, or they have reached elite and you didn't, or they have a higher rank than you, and they just signed up. And don't get caught in that comparison game. This business is huge for it. Use it to drive you. Use it to let you see what's possible in this business. Let it inspire you and say, you know what, if they can do it, what's so different about me? Why can't I do it? The only difference between you and anybody else in this business is the hours that you work and the length of time that you've been a coach. Everybody that's on this call tonight will reach the Millionaires Club unless you quit. So just take a second and think about that. And everybody's going to hit it as long as you stick around. So don't be threatened by how fast somebody else hits it or how fast somebody gets to 5-star or 10-star. Let it inspire you and say, you know what, I'm going to do that. That's going to be my goal. Blaming others for your lack of success. And this was something that I really fell into. Not so much blaming my upline, I didn't really have one, but blaming my downline and saying, you know what, if my coaches got to diamond, I would be a higher rank. Well, I had to lead them there. I couldn't just turn around and say, okay, I got to diamond, now you guys go do it. I had to really figure out how to be a leader and how to lead a team. My upline stuck me on an inside leg and I don't have a power leg, and that's why it's taking me so long to make this much money. Half the network is on an inside leg. Just work harder. The money will come. I promise you. I'm on a dead inside leg. Half the network is. I think most of the 5-star wall is all on dead inside legs. Then Pat's raising his hand too. And it's just what you make of it. Looking at the short-term loss versus a long-term gain. And a great example that I use with my coaches is, you've got that somebody and it's the 23rd of the month and they're going to sign up on Friday, and tomorrow you get a message from them and they say, my husband wrecked my car or something came up and I don't have that money to buy my challenge pack. And you were counting on those points. You were counting on that sign up. And instead of saying, you know what, let's get you into a free group. Let's help you for the next few weeks until you can save up that money again. You get really frustrated. You ignore their message and you think, damn it, there go my 2 Success Club points, or damn it, there goes that sign up. The minute you guys start looking at somebody as Success Club points and dollar signs, that is the minute your business is going to take a nosedive. But if you can invest in that person and let them see that you are there to help them, then when they are ready and they do have the money, you're going to be the first person that they talk to. So always think about that and realize that, you know what, this business isn't get rich quick. These people come to you when they really, really need your help. So don't give up on them because they're trusting you with a part of themselves that's really difficult for most of them to kind of, admit to, that they really need this help or they want this help. So don't discount them just because you're worried about Success Club points. I think that's probably where I was going with this. But what we want to do is really sort of shift into a growth mindset. We want to embrace these challenges. Maybe you are a brand new coach on this call tonight, and maybe you want to hop into a diamond push group that's going to be starting in a few weeks. Do it. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to get some awesome training from amazing leaders, and maybe you sign up 5 coaches and not 8. Big deal. You're a brand new coach signing up coaches left and right, getting great training. Just take it and run with it. If we have Fall Classic or we have Team Cup again before the end of the year, jump on a team. If you're an Emerald, take the opportunity to lead a team and really kind of try to step into that leadership role and really see what it can do for you. Persist in the face of setbacks. This is something that I really have tried to hammer home with my team the last couple of months. We know August and September are notoriously slow for the network. I feel like this August was slower than last year's. It was kind of crazy. But if you guys can kind of stick with it and stay the course, in a few more weeks when we get out of leadership and we've got new announcements and people are getting excited about Hammer and Chisel and it's the holidays and people are thinking about making resolutions or buying Christmas gifts, if you're the ones that are out there and you're the ones that are being consistent on your social media, then you're the ones that they're going to come to. Really sort of persisting and saying, you know what, it's tough, it's slow. And here's the thing, you guys, if you're somebody who normally has to invite 20 people through the month to hit Success Club 5, and last month you had to invite 40 people to hit Success Club 5, make that your new normal. Make that your new benchmark. Because now that you're consistently inviting 40 people a month when it's hard, when it starts to get easy again and you're still inviting 40 people a month, when you struggle to hit 5, you're going to be hitting 10, 12, 14. And the coaches who persist through these couple of months that are super slow now, you guys are going to be the ones in January that your businesses will explode. I saw it last year on my own team, the coaches that really stuck with it and were struggling to get, 5, 6 points every month. Come December and January, they had 10, 12, 15 points because they really stuck through this sort of, slow 10, 12 weeks that we have, in the end of summer and in the fall. So your effort is a path to mastery. Let yourself fail. And if any of you think that once you reach a certain rank, you stop failing, it's a lie. I think we fail more as leaders because we try so many things to help our teams. And a lot of times they don't pan out. So when you're finding something that doesn't work, that's great. That's one less thing that you have to worry about working. So just keep pushing through it. Learn from constructive criticism. We are here to help you. We have failed so many times building our businesses. Let us help you and let us see, this is something that has worked for me. This is something that has helped me. Pat was on our call on Monday and he was kind enough to share this great 21-day fix thing that you guys use. My coaches have loved it, by the way. Sharing things like this cross-line is what empowers the whole network. We're not in competition. Everybody is here to help each other. And where some of us leaders have had a lot of failure, others have had a lot of success. And it's because of calls like these that we're able to help more people on a more massive scale. And even if you're just helping the coaches in your downline, you're still helping people. Just because you're not recruiting 15 coaches a month doesn't mean that you're not helping people. If you're helping one coach finish a program and get their results, you've done your job. You are not a failure. And find lessons and inspiration in the success of others. Let these successes of other coaches, tomorrow's Thursday, rank advancements are going to be out. People are going to start with the income post and the rank shout outs. Don't be frustrated. Don't be that person that wants to be off Facebook all day on Thursdays because there's rank advancements in your feed. Let it inspire you. Let it push you, and set a goal for yourself. Set your 30-day goal, set your 60-day goal, and then set your end of the year goal. And say, you know what? I'm going to use these coaches as inspiration to help me get to that goal. Understanding that you don't know it all, and being teachable and wanting to grow. The minute that we feel like we know it all is when our business becomes stagnant. So it's so important that we make sure that we are always teachable and we're always open to new ideas. We're open to trying new things. We're open to really trying to see what can be done with this business, what we can learn from, cross-line leaders, what we can learn from other coaches that we follow on Facebook. What can you learn from picking up a new personal development book? Empowering others. If you have a new coach who sells their first challenge pack or signs up their first coach, shout them out. Even if you have somebody who's been a discount coach for a really long time and now they want to make that shift into the business and they get their first customer, celebrate that. That's going to empower them, and that's going to make them see, this team is like a family and they're so excited for me. It's going to motivate them to want to do more. Adding value to others. Don't be the guy that comes into the team page and just uses it as the FAQ. Bring value to it. If you find a cool video on YouTube or you find, a cool graphic, just share it. Just add value to others. Run your free challenge groups. Let these people see what you can provide and how you can add value without charging them. Because when they see that you're willing to help them for free, when they are really ready to make that change, then they're going to come to you. And having fear, but acting anyway. That really kind of ties into, sharing your story and sharing your why. We talk about sharing our stories, and that's what our businesses are built on. And sharing your story is really for probably the majority of the network, if not all of the network. Sharing the most vulnerable parts of your life, the most vulnerable times in your life, maybe when you felt at your worst health-wise, maybe you filed for bankruptcy, maybe you couldn't pay your bills, maybe you couldn't buy food, maybe you couldn't walk up the stairs without wheezing. Sharing those points in your life are really vulnerable. But by putting it out there, you will inspire people because that's going to resonate with somebody. And you're going to have somebody that's going to hear your story or see it, read it, whatever, and say, you know what? That's me. And if they're doing it, why can't I do it? And the other thing that I talk about with fear is, we talk about the fear of inviting, which I'm going to touch on. But this is a great way to really kind of tie it into what you believe. And I talked about this before, if you believe that you're not going to be successful in this business, you won't. The power of positive thinking is an incredibly powerful tool. And when you have that, and you can say it all you want, but when you truly believe in yourself that you can achieve these goals, they will happen. They may not happen on the timeline that you want them to happen, but they will happen for you. So here's the thing. So we talk about consistency in our inviting. We talk about sharing your story, even though it's scary. What I encourage my coaches to do, and we usually do it once or twice a year, is I have them create what I call a chicken list. And you take a piece of paper and you write down 20 people that you think would be absolutely amazing rock stars in this business. They would kill it. They'd be fantastic. They would, rock this business. But you are too chicken shit to invite them to the business opportunity. So I have them do this, and then once a week, they are to invite one person off of that list. And the reasoning is this: as much as we may be afraid to invite them, if they're great for this business, why are we afraid? Why are we scared to invite somebody that we think would have so much success in this business? The other thing is, maybe they want to do this. Maybe they want to sign up, but they're scared to talk to you. So when you can take that step and you could say, you know what, this is hard for me, but I really think that you would totally rock this, and I really would love to talk with you about it, or have you join a sneak peek, or have you come on a call to listen about what we do. They may just say, you know what, I've really been thinking about it, but I've been afraid to reach out to you. And things like that happen. Just because you're afraid doesn't mean that somebody else isn't. And I think we kind of tend to forget that when we have this big fear of inviting, or fear that, people are going to tell us no. People tell me no every day. But you have to just look past that and say that they're not saying no to me. They're saying no right now to themselves. They don't think that they're worth it or they're ready yet. And it's my job to just be here when they are ready. And do your personal development, especially when you don't want to. Those who say they don't need it often need it the most. That was me. I was like, I don't need to do personal development. I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. Newsflash. That's a big red flag that you need personal development, because we always need to grow. And what I try to relate to you is what you feel like you are terrible at is what you really should be doing personal development on.
Come on.
You are somebody
Let's go.
who has a negative mindset, or you struggle with self-doubt. You want to pick up something like the magic of thinking big. GoPro. GoPro is great. I think every coach should read it. But you want to make sure that if you need personal development, you're doing personal development and not business development. I think that those are two very different aspects, and we tend to lump them together. So I think it's really important that you make sure that you're doing what is really going to kind of help you in your business. So these are some of the things that I use on my phone. I have an iPhone, so there's my disclaimer. I don't know if some of these are not available on the Androids. So I use the Spirit Junkie app, which is by Gabrielle Bernstein. And it just gives you like a little inspirational quote in the morning, kind of like get up and I check it. And it's a great way to just kind of put yourself in that positive mindset for the day. The other is the Secret app. If you haven't read the book, you should. It's fantastic. But the great thing about the Secret app is it's 365 days. The day you put it on your phone is day one. And if you're like me and life gets crazy and you skip a couple of days, you can always kind of rewind back and just start from wherever you left off. And Audible, I feel like everybody loves it. It's my absolute favorite app. I'm always busy. I'm always running around. I don't always have time to sit and read. So for me to have something like in my ears while I'm, doing stuff around the house or cooking, I always have something that's feeding my brain depending on what I feel like I need that day. Again, make sure you're doing the right kind of personal development. That is critical. And affirmations. We want to, make sure that we are putting out there what we want to attract in the environment. So that's going to kind of go hand in hand with the law of attraction. So that's, am I going to freeze? That's what I had on mindset, but now it says my screen sharing is paused. Yeah, while we're waiting for that to stop, Pat, I don't know if you had any questions or if you wanted to open it up. I'm trying to see.
It should work now. You want to try? You had another PowerPoint you were going to show?
No, I did have another one. I'm just trying to stop the share and it's not.
Oh, I just see like everyone's face like a Jeopardy board right now.
Oh, okay, good. Then it's working. Then it's probably just on my end.
Let's see. I don't see your video though. I just see like a black screen.
Oh. That's okay. It's probably my computer.
I had a question actually for that was great, by the way.
Thank you.
So for like the persist in the face of setbacks, like building a business, obviously life in general, you're going to have setbacks. And I think there's a big difference between people that have success and those that don't when it comes to how they handle a setback. And you said you've been working like a lot with your coaches. What are some of the things, like one or two things you've kind of done with your coaches that have been struggling with maybe the fact that August and September are kind of slow months for their business, which is the theme throughout all of Beach Project?
So we did some team-wide challenges, which I felt were really helpful. It got a lot of coaches engaged in the business. So we did like a team-wide 3-day refresh challenge. And really kind of open it. And that was twofold because it gave everybody a boost of volume, to kind of help drive volume and help people get that little bit of a boost. And it got a lot of coaches who had never done the refresh, but were curious about it and were, sort of, I guess, maybe afraid to do it alone. And it worked out really well. So we ran a little contest. They had to order the refresh during one bonus week out of the month. We picked 1 week that they had to order it to be eligible for the prize. And if they sold a refresh or a challenge pack or enrolled a coach with a refresh, they got like an additional, chance in the drawing. They had to post their before and after pictures, and we did it all right in the team page. So everybody that wasn't participating still kind of got to see it. And I can send you my little graphic that I made up with all the rules on it.
That'd be great, yeah.
And we just picked, they had to post before and after photos. They had to order it during that time. We had coaches who either had them previously and just did it with us to have, sort of people, like a group to do it with. And then at the end, whoever was the winner, they got to pick a product from the performance line as their prize. So it worked out really well. We had about 40 coaches that, participated in it, which was really kind of exciting. And it was fun to see, what everybody thought of it, how everybody felt, the different ways that people, I think, sort of divided up their food. Because I've done it a handful of times and I always kind of do the same thing. So it's nice to hear how people sort of change it up. That was a big thing that we did. We just did like a coach, what we called like a coach reassessment. So we were able to, I had all the coaches that wanted to really push their businesses forward, fill out like a form. This was something that we talked about in the study group. I actually got the idea from another coach. So they all filled out a form and it talked about what their goals were with their business. Were they actually inviting? Were they starting new conversations with people? Why or why not? Are they coming to Super Saturday? Why or why not? And it was a chance for me to be able to see maybe where in the downline coaches may need a little bit more help. So to kind of take a look at that and then send that off to their diamond or star diamond upline and say, this person I think needs a little bit of extra help. Let's set up a time, to kind of chat and see what we can do to help them. And I think, the bigger the team gets, it's hard to give coaches that are, 4 and 5 and 6 levels deep, sometimes that sort of one-on-one time. So to be able to see coaches that may be struggling and really could benefit just from like a quick power call, I think has really been beneficial because they're able to connect with other leaders on the team and really feel like they're not just some person sort of buried in the genealogy. So that's been helpful for us.
Awesome. Cool. I wrote those down. I'm going to be messaging about those.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's say you have a coach or yourself maybe that, is getting a lot of like discount coaches and or coaches that say they want to do the business and they're not really doing the business or are getting frustrated with the business. And you start to kind of, like you said, I don't know, get upset or maybe like blame your coaches on your team and say like, man, I should be a 5-star diamond, but my coaches just won't get to diamond. They're not working the business. And you said like you might have kind of got into that mindset a little bit, but then you made a shift. And I was just curious, like what things you changed, what kind of like shifts you had in your mindset that went from kind of like being stuck as a diamond. And then, I mean, you exploded to 5-star, it seemed like in less than 6 months.
Yeah, I did. It was just under 6 months that I went to 5-star. And I think a big thing for me was really trying to figure out how I wanted to lead my team. I'm somebody who deals with sort of that tough love approach. So it's very hard for me to kind of relate to coaches who may need a little more hand-holding. And I realized as I looked back that I was trying to drag coaches along that weren't either necessarily ready to be dragged or coaches that wanted to be pushed. And I had one coach, she was my first diamond, and now she is a qualifying 2-star. She signed up as a discount coach, and about 3 months in, I asked her if she wanted to do a new coach training, and she was like, you know what, I'm going to try it. This girl exploded. And as soon as I saw her, I was like, you know what, these are the kind of people that I need to attract. And these are the kind of people that I can work well with. These are the people that I know how I can push them. I know what I can do with them and how we can work well together. And for me, it was because I was so frustrated and I was so negative about the whole thing. That's what I was attracting. And once I kind of really shifted that, I was able to attract better coaches, attract better, quality coaches, not necessarily, I don't want to say better quality, more business-minded coaches, people who really wanted to build a business and wanted to see what this could do for them. I kind of changed how I was tracking my customers. I changed the way I was doing my follow-ups and when I could kind of stay more consistent with that. I think that's a big part of it. We tend to invite people and then when they say no, we kind of just drop off and we don't necessarily keep going back and following up with them because things do change and circumstances do change. And the more we actually build relationships with people instead of sending them a one-time message asking them to join a challenge group, they're more likely to come back. And I think figuring all of that out and realizing that if I wanted to make a push for elite, I had to lead my coaches. I had to do it because you don't get to elite by yourself. That's your team that gets you there. So to really work with my coaches and figure out how I could help them hit Success Club, and I think but when they naturally start hitting Success Club and signing up coaches, then they'll eventually get to Diamond. If they do it.
How did you I think sometimes as a new coach, you come in and people are a lot of times new coaches, including myself, are just desperate to get people to join us as coaches. And we'll kind of just take anyone. And it sounds like that's kind of what led to some of your frustration was maybe you were attracting some of the people that weren't the best fit because you kind of had that desperateness about you a little bit and maybe attracted some people that weren't the best to be working with. And then you made like a shift and you kind of realized who you do work well with, who you do want to work this business with. I think a lot of times that is like the switch that goes off in people's businesses. Mm-hmm. When they find that first person that they just click with, that they want to build this business with, that they want to grow with, and that person wants to grow and build this business just as much as them. And a lot of times coaches are in the beginning are desperate to find anyone and they bring on coaches that they don't have that connection with and they feel like they're dragging them and they're like, I don't know if this coaching thing's for me. It's because they haven't found the people that are really going to spark them and give them that energy that they would if they had those people that wanted to do this with them, that had that same passion for growing a business, that same passion for helping people. So I guess my question would be like, when you realized that, what changed as far as like who you were looking for and how you attracted those people?
I started looking for people that I think were more like me personality wise than like me in the sense that things that we had in common, if that makes sense. So instead of just looking at like all moms or all like, women in their 30s or, moms with, with younger kids, who either were still working or had quit their jobs and they had kids, I started looking for people that were more like me, personality wise. I am a super, super strong Ruby. And I think because I was so frustrated and because I was sort of desperate, I attracted a lot of pearls, which pearls are great. I don't resonate well with them. My personality it's very hard for me to relate to them. And that was where a lot of my frustration came in. And when Annie came on, she was just a discount coach for a couple months. She had done Beachbody programs for years, and she really kind of wasn't ready to build a business. And she shared some results and people started asking her about them, as that's, always how it works. And I had said to her, you're getting comments and stuff on your post. Why don't you join this coach training? And she was like, you know what? Okay. And she was the first person that I didn't have to start tagging in the training to like keep up with the posts. And the more I started talking to her, I was like, you know what? And now like I couldn't do this business without her. She's like my right hand. She's like a Ruby Emerald. So she's like super organized. She like does all of like the calendars and stuff for the team. She's like my sister. We complement each other so well. And
how much more exciting is it now? Like
it's seriously, guys, when you find that one person in your business, that first person in your business that just gets it, it's like your whole outlook on everything changes. So that was probably November of 2013 when she started to, when she was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna give this a shot. And we came out of the gate and it was the end of the year, and I was like, I'm gonna make a run for Elite in 2014. And she's like, you know what, me too. I'm not even diming it, and I'm gonna make a run for it. And I was like, this girl's right up my alley. Like this is. And she got to Diamond during Team Cup in February. And you know what? She didn't build quickly, but if I've ever seen a solid Diamond, it was her, man. That girl had like the end of last year, she had like 16 coaches and like 12 of them were Emerald. Talk about like a solid business. So she really built very differently than I did, but she built and she was so solid, and she brings such a different side to our team that now I couldn't do this business without her now. It's just unbelievable. So when you find that one person that you really start to click with, that first coach that really gets it and wants to run, harness it, and then go out and find people that are similar to them. Find those personalities that you work well with, because when you work well with someone, this business becomes so much easier. And when you have personalities that clash, it makes it really difficult to have success, because you don't kind of know how to relate to each other, I guess.
I sometimes I don't get upset when a coach kind of like gives up on the business, but I do get a little sad because I feel like they gave up on something they didn't really realize what they had. Mm-hmm. Because they never got to experience what it's like to be running with someone in this business that has the same passion as you do. It's completely different than trying to drag coaches along. It doesn't feel like a job anymore. It's like something that you're so excited about because you're running side by side with that person. And then, like you said, once you find that first one, now there's two of you out there, and you're going to find the third even faster. And then when you have three of you, now you're going to find the fourth faster. And you start to realize who it is you're looking for once you find that first one, though. But it's so important that you stick with this and have that feeling in your gut. Like, I just knew it. You know, when I just knew it was inevitable. I was going to find at least one person that wanted to do this as much as I did. I just knew it. It was inevitable, you know? And then that, like you said, like when you have that belief, the things that you need to make that happen, they start to present themselves. Versus when you kind of say you have the belief and you don't, and you're more negative about this whole thing, and you don't really think you're going to find that person, you're not going to. It starts with that belief.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, it's common. We get frustrated and we worry, that other people have had success. Will we have that same success? Will we not? And I mean, guys, the only thing in this business that holds you back is the belief that there is something holding you back. There is literally no cap on your income with this business. That's mind-blowing. There's literally no limit to how much money Beachbody will pay you. So just sit back and let that sink in. And if you're working, think about the raise you got from your corporate job. And then think about what you can do with Beachbody. My weekly income has tripled since the first of the year. How many of you guys gave yourselves a 400% raise in the last 9 months? It's crazy to kind of think about that. And I think what gets me is the frustration that people don't get this opportunity. And then I see that, and then they quit. And then I see them 3 months later on Facebook and they're struggling still. And I'm like, my God, if you just gave it a chance, what this business can do for you. But when you find those people that get excited about this business, and you see that spark in them, or you hear it in their voice the first time you're on the phone with them or you're on a Zoom with them, your whole outlook on the business changes. And I think that's what's so magical about getting to these events and getting to Super Saturdays and getting to Summit, because that excitement it's literally tangible when you're in a room with other coaches and stuff like that. It's crazy. I have a girl who signed up at the end of May, and she hit Success Club in like 10 days during the month of May. The last 10 days of the month, she signed up, she hit Success Club, and she got a Success Starters email the first week in June. And this is like this little 21-year-old girl. She just graduated from Penn State. And I'm thinking, like, she's adorable. She's going to have a lot of success in this business because she totally can. And she's like, you know what? I think I'm going to go to Summit. Bought a ticket, showed up at Summit. And she was like, she came home and she was like, I'm fired up. I'm going to be on the stage next year. When you find coaches like that get excited, bring your potentials to a Super Saturday. Bring them to an event. Because when you can get people to an event like that and let them really see what it's like to be around coaches, there's nothing like it in the world. The first event that my husband came to was the cruise last year. And he was like, oh my God, everybody's so nice. It's just unbelievable. Everybody's coming up and everybody's giving me hugs and they're saying hi and they don't even know me. And I'm like, that's what this is. It's not, it's not this competitive network. It's one big family. And when you've got people that get it and they want to kind of go on this journey with you, it makes it so much more fun.
No doubt. It doesn't, it really is the switch. And it's sometimes sad when people give up before they find that, or if they don't think they will. There's something holding them back.
Yeah.
It really is, So we got like a couple minutes left. I'll open it up if anyone has questions. I had like one more, sorry. I'm just curious about your coach. You said her name's Annie, that had like 16 coaches, 14 of them were Emerald coaches. And you said she had a little bit different approach. I was just curious, like, how someone goes about signing 16 coaches and 14 become Emeralds. That's pretty amazing.
She, we talked about it, and she had signed up her husband and her mom both on her inside leg. She was on what used to be my power leg, which is now my weak leg. And we had talked about it. And when I had said to her, you want to start building that inside leg so so you'll start to cycle more because you're banking so much volume. And so she signed up, right? She got her 4 coaches. She got 1 Emerald. Then she made her husband Emerald. Then her mom got to Emerald on her own. Her mom's got like 7 or 8 coaches. And then her best friend went Emerald. And then she's got her sister on her leg, on that leg, and her sister went Emerald. And she literally had 6 coaches on her inside leg, and they were all Emeralds. So she went back to the outside leg and she was like, I have to solidify this because I wasn't building it. And she just slowly started helping each coach that really wanted to do it see the benefit in signing up their spouse, see the benefit of, getting into the lead program. She just has this way of, really kind of communicating with people to, really help them understand the opportunity that comes once you kind of get to Emerald.
Does she like, let's say she signs a coach up and then that coach has someone that's like a prospect or on the fence, but her coach is still kind of new and doesn't feel comfortable explaining the coaching opportunity. Does she like do 3-way calls? Does she do a sneak peek? Does she do like a webinar where people can hop on? Like what is the interaction with her coaches, prospects, and her coaches?
We have a weekly coach opportunity call every week. We also have a recorded webinar that we'll send, so they can hop on a call. They can listen to the webinar. We do a sneak peek once a month. So it's really kind of like whatever, time of week it is or time of month, she'll kind of get them on there, and she will really stress the importance of when you have that first prospect, sign your spouse. Sign your spouse, sign your mom, sign your sister, sign somebody, and get to Emerald. And, she was really able to kind of harness it with them from day one.
Awesome. It's cool. Does anyone have any questions? We got like 5 minutes left. I know I hogged all the questions. I think everyone's muted.
I have a question. When you said that you had to shift your mindset for who you were attracting, how did that look tangibly? Like, what did you do differently as far as how you started attracting people that were business-minded compared to trying to just sign anyone, like, oh, you're a mom, sign with me, to the people who wanted to build a business like you?
I really started sharing what the opportunity had done for us financially. And it wasn't anything flashy. It was, sharing that, 1 week my check paid our cell phone bill, or paid my electric bill, or it paid for, my daughter's karate lessons. It was just little things like that I would start to share, that like, this was something that we were able to do because of this, or I was able to cover this check, or I was able to pay this bill. And I think the big thing came was when it had been a really big goal of mine from when I started, was to be able to cover my mortgage with 1 week's paycheck. And once I was able to share that on Facebook, that was huge. And that started bringing people to me that were really more interested in the business opportunity. That's not to say that I don't have challengers that turn into coaches. Many of them do. A lot of them are very successful. But I basically stopped trying to sign up every single person that I talked to. And I started being a little more selective with when somebody was interested in a challenge pack. Was I always going to say, well, you should be a coach? I would offer them the discounted option. But I think the way that I explain it now is different, as opposed to saying, you can sign up and you can get yourself the discount and maybe you're enough to pay for your Shakeology. I've really let them see, there's a huge opportunity here. If people want to take advantage of it.
Love it. Anyone else? Hashtag quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Anyone else have a question? Three, two, one. All right, I think that's it. Brianne, thank you so much for hopping on. This is very helpful. I'm going to have some more follow-up questions I'm going to hit you up with.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
That was great. I appreciate you taking the time. We have we do like a little boom to kind of get everyone off the call. It's kind of like our 1, 2, 3 cheer. So that's kind of how we thank you for taking the time to spend some time with Team Boom.
I love it.
So we're not booing you. It's boom. Okay. Unmuted. All right, guys. 1, 2, 3.
Love it. Thank you, guys.